Hey everybody, my name's Matt Mahern with Magnolia Sessions, sponsored by Music City Hot Chicken and Mishawaka Amphitheater. We're here at Hodi's Half Note with the band My Dog Ate Chad, who has just released a brand new album called Krakatoa. Guys, how we doing? Why don't you introduce yourselves?
We're good. I'm Matan, and I play keys and I sing a little bit.
Hi, I'm Nico, and I'm the lead guitarist and co-lead vocalist with Jackson here.
Yep, that's my name. I drum and sing.
Yeah.
And what you're about to be watching is an excerpt from our live Mishawaka show from about 2 weeks ago. And this was like a real live show. It's kind of crazy.
With actual people in attendance.
With real people. They weren't mannequins. Some people asked about that.
Very exciting.
Really?
Well, I'm enthralled. I want to see this. So without further ado, let's go and check this out.
Looking for something to do. Seeking a holder now and then, least expected. Saddle up, mermaid. I'm kissing soon when I'll say those bastards.
So if y'all didn't hear already, this is kind of an album release for us, but also not really. The album's not officially out until the 26th, but y'all get to listen to it early. On your tables you can find download codes or links to the SoundCloud, whichever you prefer. They're in those little white cups that were passed out earlier. I wish I could see you all. All I see is this like veil of fog. But thank you all so much for being here. Seriously. This is amazing. I mean,
It really does mean more than we can say.
yeah, here are two of the first singles from this album.
Hey-oh. Hey-oh. Yeehaw. Whoa.
All right. Well, that's half the record right there, live and in person from Mishawaka Amphitheater. How'd you guys feel about that?
Well, the set
Great.
was pretty crazy up to that point. Those last two songs you just heard were the very first singles we released for this album. Pretty much, I think a year ago almost, last August, which feels a very long time ago, and it's a very different world now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was really being up at the Mishawaka. This was also our first Mish show, which was, I mean, it's been, a venue that we've wanted to play since literally
The
forever.
First ever time you played there?
First time
Yeah.
that we ever practiced, we were like, wouldn't it be crazy if we played at the Mishawaka now?
Yeah.
But we did.
We
it's
did.
it's a magical place to play.
It
at,
really
for sure.
is.
Yeah, growing up and seeing shows there and then being on that stage was just, it was wild. It was nuts.
Well, awesome. I'm glad you guys got up there and got to do it. You guys put something online to get some of your fans involved. We're going to throw a couple of these questions out to you. Let's see. The first one is, what's your favorite cover song to play?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Well, I think my cover song, and this is probably going to be different than the rest of them, would be the song Majestic by Wax Fang, which we haven't played a lot, but it has a really special place in my heart, and Nico always just absolutely shreds on the guitar solo in it, and it's so good. And I don't know, I think that's probably my favorite.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a lot of different great options. I've loved so many of the songs that we've played, but again, because of that emotional spot in my heart, I think it's going to have to be Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. It's just every time.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Jackson?
My favorite one, we do a cover by a band called Brockhampton, who are a rap group.
Okay.
However, we switched it up and we added a blues element to it. It's super fun to sing for me, and I get a solo. Yeah, it's.
Do you sing, rap it, or?
I mean, yeah, you can sing and rap at the same time.
Okay.
You just sing fast.
Yeah.
So,
Just singing
yeah.
fast. Giddy up. All right. And let's see. Let's do one more before we go back to the music. Which song was the most difficult to make from beginning to end?
Ooh, I think this is a tough one, but I think in terms of like the amount of time that we spent on a song and going back and being like, oh, that was weird. Oh, we didn't like that, but ooh, here's like the perfect thing, was the song Cape Town, which is, you'll hear in the next part, it's the second to last song. And we took, I think, about 2 months to write that song, just because it has a lot of different like sections and components, and I'll let the other guys talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would agree and disagree. I think it's a tie between Cape Town. I think in the initial process of writing it took the longest because it was about 2 months solid before we even really wanted to do much with it live. But I would argue that potentially the Performer was more difficult because we wrote it way faster, but we were not happy with it. So we went back and for months afterwards we kept adding layers, and after multiple shows we'd go back and listen and, oh, hey, what if we change this here? And then in studio, we added just a few more things.
More
but
of
I
a
think they're
work in
about
progress
tied.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it was an evolving song for sure.
Yeah, I'd pretty much agree. I think Cape Town was pretty hard. We kind of went into that song hoping to have it be one of the first songs with like multiple sections. And I think we succeeded. And it's definitely, I mean, the harder you work on a song like that, the better it comes out. And therefore, I think Cape Town is definitely one of the best songs on the album.
Well, I listened to that one actually before this on Spotify, and it turned out great. So I'll give you my seal
Thank
of
you very
approval on
much.
that one.
Thank you.
So let's get back to the video and some more music from Mishawaka with My Dog Ate Chad.
Little Diamond is up next.
Thank you very much. Once again, thank you to Mish. Give it up for the sound people today over here at the Mish. Give it up for these video crew from CSU up here. They're going to be filming for future use. Also, right now we're facing a pretty important time in our country. There's a lot of people standing up for what's right now. And that does not, so we want to be part of that. And we're going to give like 25% of our proceeds tonight to the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. Please donate, protest, sign petitions. Please help everyone out. Black Lives Matter. The song is called No Shame. 1, 3, 1, 2. When make up, when I want imperfection is what I find. I'm lost down, getting found. I put transport in the ground. Hey! I'm a river, a teasing I'm not saying not because of fingers into my hand. Because I am not one Hey! Also, give it up for the fucking Beeves. remains damning. The crew is gone for good. Now she drifts the ocean with old and creaking wood. Whoa. Thank you so much, everyone. On keys, Matan Birnbaum. On bass, Ben Shibley. On rhythm, Goose Seifert. On guitar, Nicholas Cutbirth. My name is Jackson Smith, also known as Jay. Once again, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much again to Oliver, Jakob, and Mike for helping us on the album. Thank you so much to the Mish and the Beeves. Turn the lights down real quick.
Like all the way down.
Thank you. This is the last song on the album. It's called The Performer.
Y'all hear the river? That's so nice.
Going to die. You find it relatable. Crying for help. But you think it's not painful.
We'll be right back.
All right, we're back. That was great. That was the album as played live at the Mishawaka Amphitheater not too long ago. First of all, guys, where'd you record this album?
We recorded this with Oliver from Slow Caves in his parents' basement. They have a really
great.
nice studio set up down there. Really cozy too, nice and homey.
Nice.
Great setting, really. Great dude, great people.
Yeah, it was so much fun to go over to his parents' house and to go into the Slow Caves practice space and to kind of like just breathe a little bit the same air of them. Like there's almost a little bit of like starstruckness at first, just because Slow Caves is another one of those bands who've like come out of Rocky and we came out of Polaris, and like kind of are starting to make it and are making amazing music, and are doing it from like their parents' bed, or not their parents' bedroom, but their parents' house, which is kind of what we're doing. And so it was really cool to kind of like be able to record in that situation. It almost felt like a Big Brother sort of thing, or like definitely something to look up to. It was really cool.
It's a nice little hometown connection going on there.
Yeah, and both the Mueller brothers as well worked on the album in their own way. Oliver, of course, producing and mixing and everything, and then Jakob, he did the album art for
Excellent.
Krakatoa, which was amazing if you've seen it.
Yeah.
So
He
Very
also
nice.
did the art for No Shame, which was really cool.
Okay. So how long did it take you to record, and also were these songs that you talked about the writing process at the break a little bit? Were these songs that you'd had for a while and waiting to record? Did you write it for this album?
So that's a nice mixed basket right there. There are a couple of songs on the album that we've had for, most of the time that we've been a band, that we wrote just a few months in. And then there's a few ones that are brand spanking new, like Spurs, something cowboy related.
Yeah, we wrote that maybe 2 weeks before we wrote that like maybe 2 weeks right before we went in, which was
Right.
pretty cool.
As far as duration, if you want to count the singles which are on the album, it would be like 4 months because of the total, scheduling things, going in, retaking, also with the time between. But as for just the album portion after we recorded the singles, it was probably like 1 or 2 months, just based
Yeah.
on schedules and
And we
when
did
we could make it work.
we did most of the drum tracking and everything in like 2 days, 2 long days, and then we came in and did the rest of the parts over the next few weeks, and we I think recorded the last thing right before stuff started to shut down, actually.
Okay. Now, is this your first full-length album, or have you put out other
yeah,
full albums before?
yeah. Well, this is our first full-length album. Clocks in at like 40 minutes sharp, and yeah, we've released an EP of February of last year, which everyone loved.
We were
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is our first full length. We've had this planned for a long time. We're super excited to finally get it out.
Yeah.
So
we've been
So, for any of the people that are watching this that aren't familiar with you guys, why don't you tell me a little something about the history of the band? I looked at a couple of YouTube videos of you guys, and there's more than you three in all the videos I've
Yes,
seen.
there are.
So, is that currently what's happening, or are you down to 3?
No, there's a whole team that makes this possible. We're missing 2 of our beloved members, Goose Seifert, who also plays guitar,
Okay.
and Ben Shively, who plays bass.
Okay.
Both of them couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, we definitely do everything as a band, and it's kind of always been that way. And so it's a shame that we can't have everybody here, but
Sure.
we're glad that we get to be here at all.
Exactly. First of all, how old are you guys? You guys are pretty young, right?
Yeah, I'm 18, Nico's 19, and Jackson's 21.
Okay.
Nico and Ben and Goose and I just graduated from Polaris
Okay.
this year, which was a very, very strange time to graduate. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And we started actually in 2016 as a school band through an after-school program called House Bands.
Okay.
Our music teacher, Jasmine, threw us all together because she thought we would play well together. And only Nico and I had worked together before, and Jackson and Ben and I didn't have the best of relationships. And I didn't think that we would be able to play well in a band at all together. But I think really once we started to play music and once like we started creating art, that switched because we were like, oh my gosh, we're making cool stuff and this sounds good and maybe this can go somewhere. And fast forward to now, we're playing at the Mish, which is wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your album. Did you have more to say about any of that?
No, I mean, I think really, because, I mean, there were some big, as there always are, big conflicts within the band. But once we really realized that we're all in it for the exact same reason, because we love music and it's what we want to do, and we just started hanging out more as a band and playing more shows, it just clicked. And, I mean, we just realized that there's no reason to do so.
Yeah.
Jackson, how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. We formed when the rest of the members of the band were freshmen in high school, and I was a senior. And there's always kind of that hierarchy, like, you
were like the Ringo.
Well, and we
aspect
were
of the Beatles
freshmen.
sort of situation.
kind of, yeah. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I started hanging out with those guys, like, I realized that age really doesn't matter in that scenario. And yeah, they're amazing dudes. I'm so glad that I got to be on a journey with the boys.
Well, it sounds like you guys are on a good trip here with the music you're making. I noticed a little bit of not like a ton, but like a little bit of like a Weezer-esque sound in there. Is that something you get?
That's one of the first bands that people compared us to,
Right.
for sure. Just because there was a bit of like power pop influence from
Totally.
my side, at least.
Right.
So
Definitely something I enjoy.
And that was pointed out to us after the first record, and whether we did that consciously or not, we kind of embraced that a little bit.
Sure.
We have like a couple Weezer covers that we play, that we played over the years, that are always just fun to throw out.
Nice.
And I feel like we can do them pretty well because we get the vibe.
Of course. Right. All right. Well, so beyond this album, what obviously everything's a little bit in turmoil right now. But what are your thoughts about what you want to do in the future as far as goals and whatnot?
So, yeah, we actually do know what we're doing, surprisingly, right? I mean, we, after, this is, I mean, I guess it is now, it's out now.
Yeah, it is crazy.
As you all are seeing it now, we are moving on to working on something a little bit special.
Yeah, and it's a little different too.
I don't think we're going to say much about it just yet. I almost did, but I'm not going to
just
just
something
yet.
to look forward to the fans.
But yeah,
a mystery.
something pretty big and something different for sure.
And, we have a couple videos and some other stuff that we've been making over quarantine that we'll be slowly releasing. And then we'll also be sharing the full set from the Mish, as well as the Beeves set, who opened for us, which was amazing and a dream come true.
The Beeves are great.
And they knocked it out of the park as well.
Huge shout out to them.
So we're not devoid of content. We will just be spacing it out. For now, though, stream that album.
Well, we managed to get all of that train coming through while
Yes,
I was
we
having,
did.
and that's fun.
Nice.
That's we're at Hodi's. That's part of the experience.
It really is.
So let's go back to the. We've got a couple more questions from the audience, and then we can wrap it up. Let's see. I think we know one of the answers to this one. Coolest venue you've played at and dream venue to play at in the future.
Jackson?
Well, I mean, as we've said countless times before, we were all super excited about the Mish. But that's not like the only venue in Fort Collins or Colorado. So I don't know. My favorite venues have always been like DIY shows,
Okay.
like all the house venues around Fort Collins, Hotel Hillcrest, the Laundry Room, the Planetarium.
Pinball Jones.
All the
You like a
DIY
little
shows.
more
That's really
intimate kind of
That's really, if you don't have those kind of venues, then the scene can never thrive like it does in Fort Collins. So
Right.
yeah, so those are my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, we've always dreamed of playing the Mish, and I think, I mean, I have to say that that's definitely my favorite place we've ever played, because, I mean, I saw John Lennon's son, Sean Lennon, and Les Claypool
I was at
play
that
on
show.
that stage.
Yeah,
that
Nico
was
and
great.
Nico and I went. Nico and I
Amazing,
went together. It was
surreal.
like the first show that we had gone to the Mish like without our parents, and we drove up there, or we took the bus up there.
Oh, yeah?
Like took the bus back full of very drunk people.
whack.
It was the whole experience.
It's all part of the experience.
But yeah, I mean, definitely very much what Jackson said as well. Like, we really cherish those more personal shows where we get to be right there with our fans on the same level, face to face, eye to eye. You know, there's no one's above anyone else. We're just sharing music, and those really are special.
Yeah, it can be a little more raw, a little more people in your face, kind of
Right. I mean,
energy's kind of right there.
not now, but yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
before.
I feel like we wouldn't be, anywhere close to where we are today if it wasn't from like people taking the kindness out of their hearts to let us make loud noise in their garage in front of a bunch of drunk college kids.
Very
And
true.
it's like one of the coolest experiences that you can never forget. But to repeat Nico and to repeat Jackson, like the Mish has definitely been a dream for so long. And I remember going up there with my parents when I was young and being like, I don't think I'll ever play there.
Right?
Fast forward to being on that stage, and I just remember having a moment on the stage, like looking at the river and looking at that eagle totem that they have, just being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I gotta say, I think, this is probably true for the rest of us, but the ultimate dream venue would be Red Rocks.
Oh, of course.
But, let dreams be dreams.
Well, you made that first one, so
We'll
who
see
knows?
what we can do from here.
Who knows?
Let's see. So the other two questions, one of them is you asked something crazy and random. Somebody said, "Have you ever had a sloppy kiss?"
Who don't?
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
No, nobody's had one of those. All right, let's move on. And the last question is there an old song of yours that you don't like anymore?
I wouldn't go as far to say that we dislike any of our old songs. However, there definitely is an element on some of them where we don't want to play them all the time because, I mean, we've played some of them so many times that we bring them out for ourselves and for our fans every once in a while, but you see them less often because we just have heard them
Yeah. To say
so much.
and I can say this confidently speaking for the rest of the band, but this is one of the first covers we learned how to play. But we got really tired of playing Float On pretty quickly because it's a really, really awesome song and people really love it. But there's not a lot of variety of chords.
Right.
And so for us, playing the same thing for 5 minutes, jumping around can get a little tedious sometimes.
Sure.
But other than that, I think it's really hard to pick a song. I want to use the trope that they're all like our children, but they're all kind of like, our children. We all spent a ridiculous amount of time going through each one and being like, we like this, we don't like this, and, kind of making it our own. So it's hard to say a song there's a song that we don't really like anymore. There might be songs that we could definitely say we are tired of playing, for sure.
Right. Jackson?
I'll be honest. I'm not really a huge fan of some of the songs on the first EP. I think
Yeah,
specifically the song "Paper Ghost" really drags, especially as a drummer. But people like it, and members of the band like it, so I'll deal with it.
Sure.
And
sometimes you have old songs that you just as a band sort of move past when you're writing new stuff. And
Right.
Things
Yeah.
just get shoveled to the side a little bit, and you could maybe reinvigorate later on if it gets a little stale for you.
even like Radiohead recently has been dragging out "Creep" so they can make their fans happy every
Oh,
once
there
in
you
a
go.
while.
I mean, you
so.
just have to sometimes.
Right, and it's always good to acknowledge good ideas from songs that are tiresome, and then be like, all right, done with that. Let's make a new one, but acknowledge the good parts of it.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that's all I have for today. Anything else you want to say to your fans?
Well, shout out again to Music City Hot Chicken, and then also shout out to Mike Davis. I don't know if we thanked him yet, but he mastered the album and then did a lot of the effects on the transitions, kind of making it flow as well as it does. And there's a lot of stuff, the more we listen, the more like little stuff we notice that he put in, which is always a treat to have someone who's talented like that working on your stuff. And then, I'd also really like to just thank you guys for being on this like crazy journey with me, and it's been like one of the biggest treats in the world to play in a band with y'all.
Yeah. Also, super, super important. We are so grateful for the 4 other amazing members here. Y'all can't see most of them, but they are the ones who are making all of this possible, and they're the reason that you can see us here. So thank all of you so very, very much. It really means a whole lot.
Yeah, shout out to Matt, Kevin, Chris, and Nick.
And then thank you to our family members, of course. They are the ones who are sticking by us, not only during these tough times, but during the making of the album. And all the bands that have helped us and shown their support for us, and everyone in the scene. Just it's part of the reason why the album exists for sure. And yeah.
Nice.
It took so much for us to be able to get here, and it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of people. So, there's such a long list of people to thank, like, Hodi's for letting us use this space, and for Magnolia Sessions for basically helping set this up and making this possible, and for the Mish for having us, and for the Ramp crew for filming it, and to the sound people at the Mish, and the servers at the Mish, and to my parents for letting us bang in our basement. Bang in our basement. That's maybe a wrong thing to say.
Just avoid that. I'm keeping that. I'm holding that against you forever.
Right, okay.
You guys can't forget this
This
either.
is just on the internet forever now. Well,
no one will ever let you live this down.
Nico, I'm going to let you thank the rest of the people.
Yeah, well,
I'm out.
thank you again to Oliver and Jakob Mueller so much, and Mike Davis for mastering the whole thing and bringing all of these pieces together, because I don't think that we're quite coordinated enough to really bring all of these together, or at all. So, really, it's all possible because of other people, and we're just eternally grateful. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Also means the world to us.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you, my dog, Chad. Actually, before we go, I have to ask, where did the name come from?
All questions about Chad will be eaten. Good night.
There we go.